Only those who are not so successful think that if you read 10 points in a book, you're going to be successful. Those who are successful, they know, they stand on their head and do circus on a daily basis. We need to understand this. If you want to be successful, don't seek success. What you seek is competence. If you enable yourself and if you do something well, other people will say you're a success. If you think I'm a success, it's foolish, isn't it? You're doing something and you're doing it well, other people in the town or in the country or in the world, people will say, oh, he's doing something really successful. They're looking up to you, that's fine. You don't seek success, you seek empowerment, you seek competence. You do the best that you can do. You cannot do as well as somebody, but you can do the best that you can do. So if you do your best, if your best is good enough, world will recognize. If it is not, you will be happy.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Carmichael, and I make these videos because I need it. I need it for me because I don't wake up every day and say, yes, let's go conquer the world. No, I wake up and I need that external motivation to match my internal motivation. When I see somebody who's doing amazing things, it makes me just want to play a bigger game. And so I hope that today's video makes you want to play a bigger game too, because your message matters, and let's get it out to the world. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Sadhguru, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. Rule number 2 is rewrite your software.
This body is a huge body of memory, evolutionary, genetic, karmic, articulate, inarticulate, unconscious, subconscious, conscious levels of memories. You can bifurcate into many, many more strands. But essentially, what you know as myself is just a consequence of the memory that is stored within you, which is largely not in your excess, but it is playing out in its own way. The very way you sit and stand, the way you look, the way you behave, everything is controlled by your memory. Or in other words, in modern terms, let's say, this is an unconscious software that you have gathered within yourself. Whichever way the software is, that is the way the machine will function. If you want to go beyond this, then the existing software you must leave and either rewrite your software or learn to operate without software for a little while. If you want to rewrite your software, something different from the existing data which is already there, then you need access to another dimension of perception and knowing. Having said that, within us, there are different dimensions of intelligence. Well, in yoga, we see 16 parts to human mind, but let me make it 4 for the sake of understanding and convenience. The first one is the intellect, which is the front end of our intelligence, because this is very necessary for our survival. If we don't have a functioning intellect, we will not know how to survive. When I say functioning intellect, essentially intellect is discriminatory in nature. It tells you what is this, what is that. If you don't have an intellect functioning, you will not know whether to go through the wall or go through the door. That's how it'll become. It is functioning all the time. This functioning is happening from memory. If say a child may try to scratch you will see a bird or an insect comes into the house, he doesn't know how to get out, he doesn't recognize the door. It tries to go through the wall, it tries to go through the glass window. So that is happening because in its memory it's not there. But your pet dog or your pet bird knows how to go through the door or the window, whatever is open. So this is the same thing. Without data, your intellect cannot function. So anything that functions with data is a limited possibility, that it is functioning within those limitations. Memory is hugely empowering on one level, but it is also a boundary. That now I've seen you, if I see you again, oh, this is my friend Vishen, okay? Suppose you are not in my memory, I look at you and think, oh, who is this stranger? So memory is also a boundary line, which most people refuse to cross. So whether you read 1 or 10 or 1,000 books, you're only building memory. If you operate within this memory, you're operating within your own self-imprisonment that you have caused to yourself.
Rule number 3 is practice inner engineering.
When you're talking to other people about them focusing inward and training that muscle, right? Because even as a 5-year-old, you could stare at something and ask questions. Like that level of focus is something that is either you're born with or you have to learn. It's everyone's capable, but some people kind of have it easier than others when it comes to focus.
This whole moment is called as inner engineering. When we say engineering, see right now you have some engineering going on here.
The wiring.
It's engineering, electrical and electronic engineering. There's a building here, it's civil engineering. How well this machine works determines how well engineered it is, yes?
Yeah.
If something is working really well for you, then only you say it is well engineered. Is it not important to understand that the most sophisticated machine that you operate in your life is a human mechanism itself? Your own body, mind and the complex mechanism that it is. On this planet, this is the most sophisticated and complex machine on the planet. There isn't anything better than this here. So, I'm asking you, have you read the user's manual?
Right.
Then if you don't read the user's manual, you just somehow… If the guy who's playing the sound there, if he doesn't know anything about that machine, if he just bangs it here and there, once in a way it works.
Yeah.
Right now, once in a way people are happy, once in a way there is a sparkle of genius. No, there is a way to engineer yourself that every moment you sparkle, every moment you're blissed out. There is a way to do this because this machine is something that you need to take charge of. But today your education systems, your social structure is such, right from the day you are born they're teaching you how to conquer the world, but nobody is telling you how to take charge of this. The quality of your life will not depend on what you conquer in the world. Even if I give you the whole planet, you could still be miserable, all right? But if you take charge of this one, you determine the nature of your experience. If you determine the nature of your experience, what would you choose, misery or blissfulness?
Rule number 4 is don't settle for comfort.
What does success look like? What does it take? Well, I know family and friends who always have their breakfast on time. And after breakfast, of course, they must have coffee. After coffee, of course, they must light up a cigarette and sit there nicely because they're trying to become peaceful. And then they will go to work, come back home exactly on time for lunch, eat lunch, rest for 1 or 2 hours, sleep, then evening have one tea and then smoke, and then again go to work. And 8 o'clock, 8:30, they're back home for dinner and then maybe other things, drink and this and that and whatever. But those who have been very successful, either in music, sport, art, business, spiritual process, doesn't matter what, those people never know when they ate, when they slept, when they got afternoon rest. I've not seen such a thing in my life. So, those who are committed to being successful with whatever they're doing, one important aspect of their life is they're not settling down wherever it's a bit comfortable. Because comfort will happen when they lower you to in the grave, very comfortable you are, Right now, it's about ensuring that there is profoundness of experience and there is impactfulness of activity. Because if they had given you a limitless amount of time, you could do all those things, nothing wrong, I'm not against them. But they gave you such little time with such tremendous potential of being human, that's the problem.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Rule number 5 is learn about karma.
How would you explain karma to someone who grew up in an Eastern culture where karma takes on a completely different meaning and is used for control and for right and wrong?
No, I would say using karma as an instrument of creating fear or guilt is a Western instrument, not an Eastern one. Your aunt, by the time your aunt came into the world, there was too much Western influence in the country. Above all, in many ways, being ruled by the British for 25 decades, we somewhere assumed they are superior to us. We are still trying to shed it, many of us have still not been out of it. So because of that, we took to those things where the entire society is only based on guilt and fear. The whole religious structures of the world, unfortunately, based on fear and guilt. Without fear and guilt, there is no nothing. Without reward and punishment, there is no nothing. This fundamentally drips down from the fundamental idea of heaven and hell. If you are good, God will send you to heaven. If you are bad, He will send you to hell and burn you there forever, whatever,
Right.
not just for a few days, forever, okay? If you're burning forever, maybe it'll be okay. I'm saying only if you're outside and go into fire, it's very painful. If you're burning all the time, I don't think it'll be a problem, you'll get used to the temperature. Like right now, we have a certain body temperature, we gotten used to it, all right? Maybe your body temperature will be 300 degrees centigrade, but it
So-
should be okay.
So
This-
someone,
I'll clear this 1 second. We must understand, however individual people might have tried to use it, karma is not about control. Karma is about liberation. Only when you talk about mukti, we talk about karma. We don't talk about karma about heaven and hell. Karma means my action, my responsibility, my life is my making. So if you understand this, you will not be controlled from outside, you will be liberated from inside in the sense. See, it's like this. Whether, let us say, people are eating, drinking, smoking, whatever they're doing, you can do those things or not do those things because you're controlling yourself, because it's a bad thing to do. Or you can make yourself in such a way that you're feeling so fantastic, you don't need to do those things. So one way is you're controlling it, another way is you're liberated. If you're controlling it, you will do all kinds of other freaky things. This happened one day, if you can mind, well, you can take a joke, I'm sure. Hello.
yes, I'm sure we can.
Rule number 6 is care for nature.
We want everybody, for 100 days I'm riding 30,000 kilometers. These 100 days, I want all of you to talk about soil in your own capacity. Whatever information that you need, we are providing a massive amount of information because all the top scientists of FAO, World Food Program, UNCCD, UNEP, IUCN, they're all with us. And the top scientists are there. Every information that you want, we will provide. Otherwise, you can always research your own this thing. But the most important thing is everybody who listens to you and all of you, say something about soil for 100 days and let's change the narrative. Because without people speaking up in a democracy, governments will not take any step. The reason why this has not happened and nobody is addressing this is our democratically elected governments last for 4 to 5 years. That's their life, that's their term rather. Why would they want to invest in something which takes 15 years, 20 years to produce results? Unless people ask for it.
Yep.
So this is just an effort to move 3 to 4 billion people across the world that they speak. If they don't know anything else, just say, save soil, let us make it happen.
Right.
That much at least. If 100 days, lot of people, 3 to 4 billion people speak on this. We have a way of aggregating these numbers with social media platforms, and using this, we will bring about a policy change. I am addressing the COP15 in Ivory Coast in the month of May, where 170 nations are there. Before that, we want to have substantial numbers so that nobody can ignore it. In a democracy, the only currency that flies is numbers.
So we will move safe soil to the top. Right now, we had drink water and take naps. We've been just trying to get people to take naps and drink water. That's really what we've been on for a long time. But safe soil
Safe
will go
soils,
to the top.
please.
And then drink water, take a nap. Where are you on removing animal products from the diet?
See, right now, the important thing is, if the vegetables that you eat, the vegetarian diets that you eat, especially in this country, I would say especially in this country, not because this is the only place this is happening, probably this is the only place where there's enough studies to show that the vegetables that you ate in early 20th century, let's say in 1920, you ate something, let's say a piece of lettuce or a carrot, what it had to offer for you, today it has only 10% of that nourishment. 90% is gone.
That's right.
If you ate one orange, today you have to eat 8 oranges to get the same stuff. So naturally people shift to meat. So it's important that soil organic content goes up, the vegetables that you eat, the vegetarian food that you eat has much higher level of nourishment, then the other thing will naturally go down, because already there is a momentum towards eating more veggies and stuff in the country which was not there just 20–30 years ago. So that moment is anyway there, but the important thing is to make sure that vegetarian diets have the necessary nourishment. That can only be done by enhancing the organic content in the soil.
Rule number 7 is practice acceptance.
Karma is never about other people, it's only about you. It's only your karma you talk about, never about other people's karma. About the loss of life, we must understand that this is the nature of life. We are born and we die. Question is only when, how, that's all. It's guaranteed that all of us will die, whether other things will happen in our lives or not, but all of us will definitely die for sure. But unfortunately, it happens untimely for certain people because we have an expectation. A human being means he or she will live a certain amount of life. So these expectations are based on our assumptions, but life has its own ways, life has many aspects. So many young people have died in this pandemic, unfortunately. It's so many people that I know. Every day, 15 to 20 people that I know well, many people very dear to me are dying on a daily basis, I'm saying. So, we need to understand this. When we lose somebody, it is not that we should find some explanation and write them off. You don't write them off. You value people because in some way they contributed and enriched your life, maybe just by a word, maybe by certain actions, maybe by a variety of other possibilities. In so many ways, human beings around you have enriched your life. So it doesn't matter. See, all the people who are alive right now may not be with you, but you cherish them. Similarly, they may not be with you, but you just cherish them for who they are. Don't make them the source of misery in your life. Or you're only kind of right now being affected by it because in some way they were a source of joy for you. Let it stay that way. They must always stay as a source of joy for you. The greatest disservice you can do to the departed person is you make them the source of misery in your life. Do not do that to them. This they don't deserve. Because if they were here, they would have been a source of joy for you. For whatever reason life decides to leave, do not try to find explanations for that. Why you're born, you never asked, isn't it? And why you die, don't ask. It's all right, it happens. We try to do our best to see that an individual human being lives a full-fledged life. But for many people, it doesn't happen. It's our business to see and do our best to see that they live a full life. But will it always happen? No. So, why you are born, why I am born, how did it happen? Don't go into these things because all you will have is hallucinations. Do not go into that. The important thing is, as a human being, you valued that human being when they were alive, please value them when they're gone with the same sense of joy and love in your heart. Do not kill that just because they are not here. If somebody is not here, let's say somebody whom you love is not with you, is in another town, another country, is it not true that you will feel much more love and longing for them when they're not with you?
Yes.
The same should be true even for this person.
Rule number 8 is understand life.
When life really isn't going our way, how do we start to, where do we begin when people are so helpless?
See, let's understand first what is life and what is external situations. This is life, this is society. Hello? Right now, you want all of them to happen your way. They're not gonna happen. You want microorganisms in the world to happen your way. They're not going to happen. Hello? What is the virus thing? You want all the microorganisms to behave just the way you want them to behave. Because nearly 52% of your body, in terms of numbers, 52% of your body is actually other organisms. Your genetic material is only about 48%. So, these are all working for you, so you have no problem. One guy doesn't work for you, so you're freaking the entire world. This life means this, because you have only experienced this one life, isn't it so? Hello? Have you experienced any other life? Is it possible? See, do one thing. Take your hand, touch the person who is sitting next to you. Please do this, an experiment. See, you think you're experiencing that person. No, you're only experiencing sensations in your hand, isn't it? Hello? You cannot experience that person. This is the nature of life. You are only experiencing the sensations in your hand. You do not know what's happening in their hand. You cannot. You can do some guesswork, but you can only experience what's within you. So, when you say life, you must understand you're talking about this life. Life is not happening the way. What do you mean life is not happening the way? Life is happening the way you want it unless you're COVID positive. You're not yet. So life is happening the way you want. Society is not happening the way you want it. Economic engine is not running the way you want it to run. So many other things in the world, what you were expecting are little dislocated. Yes, it hurts a bit here and there, but life is here. This is the only thing you can experience. You cannot experience that. Right now you made yourself in such a way that your inner experience is created by external situations. Then you have a whole cosmos to manage. Hello? Now you have a whole cosmos to manage because your inner experience is determined by everything that's happening around you. Well, all the best. You will never know a moment of… forget about joy, blissfulness, ecstasy. You will not know a moment of ease in your life. That is why, this is probably a very sensitive subject to touch in California. That is why alcohol, drugs, so many other things have become so popular simply because people do not know how to sit at ease.
Rule number 9 is stop being afraid.
Why am I afraid? I'm successful, I had some hard times, but I came back. But why am I afraid? What am I afraid for? Like, I'm just afraid that somebody might think I'm a wussy or a wimp or something. Why am I so afraid of that?
We need to understand this. This has been hugely misinterpreted and misunderstood on various dimensions, whether it's fear or love or anger or joy. We need to understand it's not about something, it's by itself. It is not that there must be something that you must be afraid of. It is not that there must be somebody that you are in love with. It is not that you are happy about something or miserable about something. You can be simply miserable. Hello? Thanks. Or you can be simply happy. You can simply sit here just by yourself and be very loving. You can sit here and be terrified about nothing. Because human experience is not created from outside. Human experience is happening from within. So what happens from within may sometimes find outside stimulus, but you can work it even without external stimulus. Hello? All of you are experts, aren't you? Without any external stimulus, you can create pain, you can create joy, you can create misery, you can create anger, love, fear, whatever you want. Because the seat of experience is within you. Only thing is you are not sitting there. You're crawling around it. You're supposed to be sitting there on the seat. If you are sitting on the seat of your experience, you would decide what should be the nature of your experience. Right now, because you're crawling around, something happens accidentally. We find an excuse. It's because of this guy I'm suffering. Even if he's not there, we would find somebody else. Hello? If that guy is not there, we'll find somebody else. If that is not there, we'll find something else. So, this is not about something. This is about that you have not taken charge of the seat of your experience, that's all. You just need an excuse. And the world will, of course, the world is quite enthusiastic about providing you the excuses. It will. They will provide lots of excuses. But believe me, if you were alone in the desert, you would still go through all these things without anybody around you, without any threat to your life. Yes or no? So, this is the fundamental flaw with life. Instead of fixing myself, I want to fix the whole world. Well, do what you want. You can't even fix one more person absolutely in your life. 100%. Did you get anybody ever just the way you want, 100%? If at all, if you're looking for that kind of success, 100%, you can only try with this guy. Try anybody else, you will fail. Yes or no? Hello? Try anybody. You will definitely fail. There's only one. This one, you could do him 100% the way you want. If you manage this one the way you want, where is the question of fear, suffering, misery, all this? This is not because of situations. This is because of the state we are in. Because no investment has been made for the being.
And rule number 10, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is seek happiness.
What is sort of the primary way that you think people can start finding simple happiness?
See, one important thing is you shouldn't be a potato farmer plucking mangoes from the ground. It doesn't work like that. So if you're looking for any inner experience, it has to happen from within. If only your thought and emotion happen just the way you want it. Your body, if it happened the way you want it, you would be naturally healthy. If your mind, if your thought process happened the way you want it, you would be naturally happy and joyful. If your emotions happened the way you want it, you would naturally be loving and blissful by your own nature. So right now the problem is, we have not taken charge of our faculties and we are trying to take charge of the world, and it's a disaster. Everything we're doing is a disaster, whether we realize that or not. Future generations will judge us that what we have done is a super disaster. All in pursuit of happiness and well-being, isn't it?
And we're all pursuing it outside
Yes.
instead of pursuing it
I mean,
inside.
that's the only place it can happen, isn't it? Human experience happens within, but we are trying to create it from outside. No matter what you do, outside situations will never ever be 100% your way or my way. It never will happen. We can have it to some extent our way, that's about it. Comfort and convenience can come by fixing the outside. Well-being and joy will not come from outside, it can only come from within. So we have created an education system, we have created a social structure where we have been taught by ripping the outside, inside will be fixed. And endlessly we're going on. We have, as a generation of people, we have more comfort and more convenience than any generation ever in the history of humanity. But we cannot say we are the most joyful generation. We cannot even say we are the most peaceful generation.
Can you give us 2 tips that you think that we could live to our peak as an example to others?
See, when we use the word peak, naturally you want to go mountain climbing, that means you want to do something others cannot do. Not necessary, because the peak is not in what you're doing outside, the peak is in the way you experience it, isn't it? Somebody can do something very small with very profound experience. Somebody can be doing big things without any sensitivity to what's happening around them. So essentially, what you're looking for, just look at this as yourself as a life. Right now you become so many social entities, you may be lost in that, but actually you're alive. Most people realize they're alive only when they're threatened with death. Till then, they're something else. They become so many other things. No matter what work you're doing here, you're just a piece of life, isn't it? It is a fortune that certain things happen through us, which will impact many other lives, wonderful. But still, this is a life only if this life functions in its best possible way, everything else will happen. Best possible way means what? Is this very clear that you're not taking your own apartment when you go, I mean, when you die and leave, you're not taking… They tell me you're creating very nice apartments, you're not going to take it, right? Your own accommodations you can't carry, you know that. So obviously, the only thing that is left here is the profoundness of your experience, isn't it? How profound is your experience? To make our life profound, somebody says, if you have education you can do this, well, everybody went to the university, I didn't. Somebody said, if you have money you can do it, everybody ran after it. Somebody said, if you can get married, it'll happen, everybody got married. Somebody said, if you have children, then it'll happen, everybody did that. Somebody said, this is not it, you must get power in the world. So people ran after that. Essentially, what should happen inside you're trying to cause from outside? What should actually happen within you, you're trying to cause it from outside. Yes, it is possible, sometimes it can be stimulated from outside, but it has to happen within you. All human experience comes from within you, is that so? Your joy and misery, pain and pleasure, anything and anything, agony and ecstasy can only happen from within you. The question is only, your joy, your peace, your love, your ecstasy, is it on push start or is it on self-start? I'm talking about upgrading technologies. There was a time in 1950s or 1950s, if you bought a car, you needed 2 people to help you in the morning because it's a push start. If you got one in early 60s, it's a crank start, you need 1 person to help. Today all our cars are self-start, right? Technological upgradation. Things which are most vital to you, the profoundness of your experience, the pleasantness of your experience here, but right now it's all on push start. If you have to be happy, how many people we have to fix in this world? If you if you have to be peaceful, we have to fix the entire world. So there is an endless amount of conditions for your experience to be in a certain way. And in pursuit of human well-being, we've turned the world upside down, we've ripped the planet apart, but still we are not the most joyful generation. We are definitely the most comfortable generation ever. Never before another generation of people have enjoyed these kind of conveniences and comforts as you and me are enjoying right now, isn't it so? Never before. But can we say with all these comforts we are the most joyful generation? No, not true. I'm not saying we are more miserable, but definitely we are not the most joyful. Are we peaceful? No. Are we loving? No. So our experience of life is still like how the caveman's experience was. Same anxiety, that guy was worried, where's my food? You're worried, where is my next apartment? Endlessly, you think it's different, it's not different. It's rudimentary, isn't it? Hello? The idea of organizing our survival process the way we have organized is, we need not be concerned about it, isn't it so? Hello? You open the tap, water comes. Don't think it's small, it's a small thing. Just 100 years ago, water means you had to go to the river with a pot on your head. So today, all this convenience that we did, why? Because we don't have to concern ourselves with daily survival. Everything is organized. Now we believed if all these things are organized, we will sit here blissed out. Well, that's not happened. It's not happened simply because we have not taken charge of this. So peak of human life does not mean you climbed Mount Everest. I have gone up Everest, you know that? No, you didn't know.
To the top?
Yeah, very top. Somebody went up there and took a photograph with my picture in his hand. So I believe I've been there.
It's much safer. It's much safer than
More sensible too. Because this guy who went there, took a picture with my picture in his hands, came down and said, Sadhguru, of 12 people that we started out, only 2 of us made it to the top. And I took the picture and I came down. We were there just about 40 seconds, right on the top, because winds were picking up speed, we had to come down. Only 40 seconds I looked around and I couldn't see a thing. And I came down, now I'm wondering, why did I do it? Because you wanted to know the peak of suffering. It's not a simple physical challenge. Climbing Everest is not a simple physical challenge. I'm not saying you should not climb. All I'm saying is, the peak can only happen within you, it will not happen outside of you. So, if the peak and the valley and the very bottom can only happen within you, people can sit in a palace and be depressed, like they're at the pit of their life, isn't it so? Hello? So similarly, if that is possible, you can sit on the street and be on the peak. There are 2 kinds of people. Some people are interested in talking, some people are interested in listening. You must decide which is wiser. Some people are interested in expression, some people are interested in perception. It is perception which enhances your life, not expression. Everybody is busy expressing their madness in the world. Everybody is busy expressing their limitations in the world. Everybody is busy expressing their prejudices and opinions in the world. What is the use of this expression, I'm saying? Birds are tweeting, it's a little more pleasant than all these human beings tweeting. Now, expression is like an expense of life, you're expending it. Perception is enhancement of life. This life for you should be about enhancing it, not about expending it. I want you to look at it. At this moment in your life, just sit back and simply look at it. All the things that have found expression from you. Take away the social context, just look at it as life. You're born one day and you'll be dead one day. In between this, all the things that you've said and done and expressed, what meaning does it have? What value is it to life? Either to your life or anybody's life. Okay, this moment I can say something and impress somebody here, maybe I can teach something to a child and, help him to learn something, live better, whatever. But in terms of existential life, as a piece of life, what does it mean, all the things that I've expressed? It means nothing, but all that you have perceived will make this life go far. If you want to find expression to what little you have perceived already, I would say wait. This restlessness is, across the world now. It used to be an American phenomena, but now it's everywhere. Everybody is restless. Before they are 20, they want their life to be done. Everything that you can do in your life should be done because there is a restlessness of wanting to be… fear that you may not find expression. There is no need to be afraid of finding expression because if you become profound with your perception, your expression happens not verbally, not by action, it becomes akashic expression. They are the only ones who live. Today, in my experience, if I simply sit here, for me, whether it is Adiyogi or Krishna or Buddha or anybody, any of the yogis who lived beyond their physical nature, they're all present for me here, they're alive here. They're not past. When I speak about them, I talk about them, they're like here because they're here. If you do action with your physical self, it leaves a certain wake in the existence and it obliterates itself. If you do something powerfully with your mind, it leaves a larger wake, but it'll obliterate itself after some time. If you reverberate your physical energy in a certain way, it will leave a much larger wake which has a much longer lifespan and it dies. But if you do something beyond that, if you do something with your fundamental consciousness, then the wake that you leave is forever. When the planet goes away, the solar system has its lifespan, when it implodes into itself or explodes, whichever way it goes, even when the planet goes away, what certain people have left will not go. You heard of Markandeya? Markandeya lived through the destruction of the solar system and again came back. Because what you do with your consciousness does not die when the physical dies. When I say the physical dying, not about an individual dying, even when the solar system dies, when the universe dies, when the whole galaxy dies, what you did on the level of your consciousness will not die, it lives awake forever and always available to any being of any nature who has the necessary perception for that being, it'll always be available. So, do not focus your life on expression, it'll go waste. Perception. Let this life be a lifetime of perception. The sadhana is essentially towards using your emotional intelligence. When we say emotional intelligence, today it's being identified in the world. For a long time, we thought intelligence means just IQ. See, this is not a… IQ means I stand in the queue. That means always behind somebody. This is the nature of the intellect. Intellect is always trying to imitate and be one-up. Wanting to be better than somebody is also an imitation of somebody, isn't it? Essentially, we are trying to do a little better than the monkeys. That's evolution. Yes. The nature of the intellect is right now the way it is for most human beings. It is a useless instrument unless there is a bank of information. There is no information. Most people do not know how to use their intellect. Only with information they can use their intellect. This is not the nature of emotional intelligence. It doesn't need any information. It can just embrace everything and know it. It can feel its way through life. It need not stand in a queue. It need not stand behind somebody. It need not try to be better than somebody. It's simply a way of being involved with life, knowing life by involvement, not by dissection. This is the difference between intellect and emotion. Intellect tries to know everything by cutting it open, by dissection. Emotion knows things by embrace, by inclusion. So the sadhana is essentially to heighten your emotional intelligence, because it's so much of an easier way of doing things. If you want to dissect the ultimate, if you want to dissect the divine, that's not a good thing and you won't get anywhere with it. The best way is to embrace. When you embrace somebody, you're also allowing yourself to be embraced. Otherwise it'll not happen. Only I will embrace you. You cannot embrace me. It doesn't work like that. When I embrace, I am also embraced. So this is a way of embracing the divine rather than dissecting the divine. So the sadhana is essentially about this. Devotion means just that. Devotion is not about dissecting the divine, it's about dancing with the divine, becoming one with it. Essentially, to heighten your emotional intelligence so that your ability to live well is not dependent upon being better than somebody. Your ability to live well is by your own innate nature, not because you're better than somebody. You don't have to prove that you're better than somebody. You don't even have to try to be better than somebody. This is emotional intelligence. There is no hierarchy in this. Once intellect enters this, if you say love, who loves most? There is no such thing. Do I love Dhyanalinga more or you love Dhyanalinga more? Do I love this turtle more or you love this turtle more? Do I love this monkey more or you love this monkey more? Nobody can decide this. Never ever can anybody wait and say, okay, this person loves more than the other person. There is no such thing. Quantities do not apply to emotional intelligence. When quantities do not apply, the high and low disappear, big and small disappear. Life becomes as it is. Is ant a more important life than you, or you a more important life than the ant? If you think you are more important, you have a gross mind. You do not understand that ant considers its life as important as you consider your life, probably more. He's got more limbs than you, probably doing more useful things, he's more organized than you, we don't know what else. Probably their population is more. If you give them the voting rights, they would win, hands down. So, intellect is always trying to set one thing against the other. It is your intellect which has created conflict. It is your emotion which can bring this together. But if emotion follows intellect, emotion will also become a deadly conflict. If your intellect follows the emotion, then there would be no conflict, there would be sweetness in the world, there would be wonderful situations in the world. So the sadhana is essentially oriented towards that. It's a simple structure, but if you give yourself, it does miraculous things to you. A lot of people cannot understand that something so simple can do something like this to a human being, because they dissect it and see. If I dissect you and see, let us say you are a great singer. Wow, you sing so well, let me see what is in your vocal cords. And I will dissect your vocal cords and look in, I will not find any music, because that is not the way life works. So dissection will take you to a place where everything will become meaningless. If you apply your intellect to every aspect of your life, you will turn everything into meaningless rubbish. This is what is happening in the life of an intellectual, that everything looks meaningless and rubbish. But if you apply your emotion, everything becomes valuable and beautiful. Every little thing becomes… a blade of grass becomes poetry. Simply a wave of the branch becomes a song. But if you apply your intellect, everything can be reduced to rubbish. Everything becomes no good. If you apply your emotion, everything becomes great. See, there are only two sorts of people who are very clear about everything in their lives: a fool and a fanatic. So if you're confused, you're neither of these two, which is a good sign. Utter idiots and fanatics are always dead sure of everything. They know they're going to heaven. Their only problem is they want to take you along. They need company. This is a thing going everywhere, particularly in the Western world, but it's very much come to urban India in a big way today. That is, you want to be decisive, this is it. See, I'm reconsidering my life all the time, whether I should continue as Sadhguru or should I become a chef, or should I just go back to motorcycling, or should I do something else, or should I play golf, should I do something, or should I simply laze around, why not? I'm always considering, every day. And still I'm making a decision, it's better to do this. Yes, I'm not decided, I'm still considering. And that's why it's valuable. Not because I decided long time ago I have no choice, I keep on doing the same thing because I'm stuck in this. The nature of the mind is, it is intelligent and alive only if every moment it's looking. If it is concluded and decided, it is a dumb mind, it's as good as a block of wood. Every moment it's considering. Only then it is an active mind. It's only that you make this choice, you must be joyfully confused, that's all I'm saying. People get confused and miserable because they have an idea that they must be… They think all successful people are all clear and they're determined, they've made their decisions. No, only fanatics are like that. And fools are like that. Somebody who's successful, he's keeping his eyes open for anything and everything, right? So, this idea that your mind must be made up is a silly idea. It's important that every moment it's a choice, everything that you're doing, life becomes beautiful because there is enormous joy because you want to do this right now. Because I decided 10 years ago I'm doing it, how will you have any joy in what you're doing right now? So, this every day in the morning you get up and you don't know what to do, it's a perfect way to get up. Yes, This does not mean that you will do different things every day. Even if you do the same thing, it's by choice. Then it keeps you alive to everything that you're doing, because you're doing it by choice. The choice that you're making is now. You might have made the same choice 10,000 times in the last 10 years, it doesn't matter. But now you're once again making an active choice. This is very important. Only then you will stay alive to life. Otherwise, I made my choice, it will become a burden. I made my choice long time ago, so I have to do it now, is a very burdensome process to live with. So, confusion is way better than silly conclusions that people are making about life. Only thing is you have to learn to enjoy the confusion. Yes, I'm working hard to make you confused. Yes, because all kinds of idiotic conclusions about life, all kinds of stupid conclusions. See, for a long time people had this conclusion that they will go to heaven, all right? I'm just taking one troublesome thing right now because with Afghanistan as a situation, it's troubling everybody in the world. Heaven-bound people, what they do on this planet is, because they're going to heaven, what is on this planet is not of value. Anyway, they're going to heaven. So now they brought it to everybody's face. It's always so. It's just that people don't see it most of the time. But now, with a geopolitical situation, they are rubbing it on your face. We are going to heaven, you are not going, so you see what we will do to you. Anyway, I'm not going to your heaven, I'm not going to compete with you in the real estate of heaven. You can leave me alone. Hello? Yeah, I'm not going to heaven. So you are heaven-bound people, you should ignore me, isn't it? But no, you cannot, because your lie will not fly if I live. Your lie will fly only if you get rid of me, isn't it? So these things are happening because people have conclusions. How they arrived at this conclusion? Who helped them to make these conclusions? I am taking a very esoteric conclusion, but in daily life also this is happening. Somebody believes this is right. Just this one stupid conclusion. How many parents have tortured their children? Hello? They love them, but they torture them, they smash them up every day. Yes or no? They love them, they hold them as the light of their life, but every day daily torture. Because they think this is the way, that is the way. Why can't you look at it every moment and see what brings maximum well-being to this and to everything else? Why can't we look at it? What is the problem? So, if you don't know how to make these choices, if they're confusing you, the problem is there is no love or commitment towards anything, okay? If there is an immense sense of love towards something, all these things will fall into place. See, you don't need morality, you don't need values, you don't need ethics. If you're conscious, you don't need any of those things. Suppose that is not possible, the next best thing is you have a deep sense of love. If you have this, you again don't need any values, you don't need any ethics, you don't need anything, because what you love you will take care in the best possible way. Because people think… I think I should read this to you. Because people think love is sappy talk and I love you, you love me nonsense going on everywhere. No, it's a very deep sense of integrity and commitment, isn't it? When you genuinely love something or somebody, there is an enormous sense of integrity towards that. You will never do anything harmful to what you love, if you genuinely love. If love is a mutual benefit scheme, then it's a different matter. You need to build something. If you don't have anything, then this mind's possibility of considering and reconsidering everything every moment becomes a painful process. Otherwise, this becomes a fantastic process. You have to become either conscious or at least loving. Hello? Once you have this, then you will see this daily consideration will not be painful, it will be very joyful and wonderful. Silence does not mean
shutting your mouth silence. What is being referred to as silence or nishabd? One cannot do this. One can become this. See if you can articulate the same things that you're saying with half the number of words. Suddenly you will become extremely conscious of everything. The wind makes its own sound. So does the water. So does the earth. In fact, so does the sky. All the celestial objects are making their own sounds. There are sounds of pain, sounds of pleasure, sounds of misery, sounds of joy. For everything there is a sound. With human life, it's very true. Sounds of life, and there are sounds of death, and there are even sounds of silence. So this complex amalgamation of sounds, different kinds of sounds, creates different intent, different levels of compulsiveness, different levels of bondage, and different possibilities of entanglement. In all this, why one chooses to become silent. Silence is not a way of denying yourself life. It is not even about denying yourself articulation. Silence is about moving from compulsiveness to consciousness. All sounds represent different forms and different dimensions of compulsiveness. When one chooses to become conscious, not be entangled in the compulsive nature of the existence, he naturally chooses to become silent. Silence does not mean shutting your mouth silence, plugging your ears silence. You can sing in silence. You can dance in silence. You can even speak in silence. You can even scream in silence. You don't try. Today, the modern world is always goal-oriented in the sense we want to win the game. Whether it's life or game, they're only thinking about winning. I feel that's a big mistake. If people don't win a game because they want to win a game. Who doesn't want to win? Everybody wants to win. People win a game because they play well, isn't it? Any team wins because they play well, not because they want to win. Who doesn't want to win? You know, we say in yoga, if you keep one eye on the goal, you have only one eye to find your way. That's not a good way to play a game. It's better both your eyes are on the game. The winning, the cup and the accolades are things which happen because we play a game well. It's not because we want them, it'll happen. Because we play well, it happens. So it's always best that we keep our eyes, our body, our mind, everything focused on just one thing. That is when a human being functions at his maximum efficiency. There's a beautiful incident in our culture when Dronacharya is teaching Arjuna and a few other boys archery. He asked one by one to look up at the tree and aim and shoot at the bird that was sitting there, a wooden bird that was kept up on the tree. And a small dot was marked on the neck of the bird, and Dronacharya said, you must aim at that particular dot and shoot. So when they just pulled the string and they're just about to shoot, he asked them to stop and ask, what do you see? So they said, we see the leaves, we see the tree, we see the fruit, we see the bird, we see so many things. Everybody said this. And when Arjuna's chance came, when he was ready to shoot and Drona asked him, what do you see? He just said, I see only one dot. And it is one who sees only one. When one's vision is totally one-pointed, that is when you get there. When everything in you gets organized in one direction, that is when the best results happen. That's so you're playing a hockey game. It's not about winning, it's not about getting a cup back home, it's not about newspapers, it's not about fame. Your whole business is just to how to get the damn ball into the goal. Every moment of being there on the field, that's all, isn't it? Now, how do I enhance my competence? See, let's say you want to run on the field, let's say you want to run a race, you want to run 100 meters. It is not running that you have to work on right now, you have to work on your legs and lungs and muscle and everything, isn't it so? So, if you want to become a great engineer, yes, definitely an institute like this is crucial on one level. But any number of people might have come here and gone, not all of them became great engineers. Though they might have produced hundreds of great engineers, still not all of them will become, simply because of their own individual attitudes and competence and whatever else, isn't it? So, whatever the institute can do for you, it is doing. One foremost thing that you need to do is to enhance your own physical and mental capabilities. Because if you want to be a good engineer, you need a working brain. Just having a degree of engineering may be a passport to a job, but it is not a passport to success, isn't it? So to have a working brain, which the engineering degree will not freeze. Usually lots of degrees, when people acquire degrees, they freeze their brains. They think they can… now they have finished using it and now they can rest it for the rest of their lives. It is not so. This is only to enhance your capability. This is just an organized effort. A school, a college, an institute is just an organized effort towards that, because each individual cannot craft it for himself. That is why an institution. Otherwise, an institution has no other purpose. It is here to just organize that possibility of you striving to be of a certain competence. But that is a mass application. But as an individual, your most important thing is you as a human being, you are functioning at the fullest level. If that has to happen, there are other dimensions which one needs to explore. Unfortunately, though these sciences and technologies for inner well-being have been the mainstay of this culture for thousands of years, today we are largely losing it for various reasons, because we want to imitate somebody else. We don't want to imitate our grandfather Topiwala anymore. We want to imitate the hat seller from another country. Because of that, we are losing those things, but we should not. We have to bring it back into our lives. This is very much a part of the way the culture itself is structured, that it is all about the human being. See, this is the only culture which talks about, which even an illiterate person in this culture is aware of, that you can actually evolve to another dimension of existence. Even if I go into a village and talk to an illiterate peasant who has not read anything, who doesn't know anything, who's not heard any of this stuff,
Even to him if I go, he will not ask me, give me a golden horse or something, he'll say, "Enakku mukti venum Swami." He's saying he wants ultimate liberation. Where did this fellow get this? Nowhere else on the planet this is possible. Nowhere else on this planet is it possible that an illiterate person is thinking that he can break his present dimension of existence and go to another place, whatever that place is. So, this was bred into our culture so deep, we should not lose it. It was not just the idea, there are technologies to become free. If you became free from the process of your body and the process of your mind, if you can sit outside of it and work it, you would work it brilliantly, do you understand? You would be able to use this body and use this mind only when you are able to not treat it as myself. These are powerful instruments in your life. These instruments can be employed the way you want it, only when you have an outside access to it. Right now, you are a phenomenal computer, but you don't know where the keyboard is. When you can't think, you scratch this spot, that's not where it is. Do you see people? When they cannot think, they're thinking hard, they scratch here. It doesn't work like that. There are proper steps that one can take. It could be offered here if everybody is willing for that.
To do things in the world, if you want to do business, you want a business partner. If you want to build a family, you want another kind of partner. If you just want to live outside, you need another kind of partner. You need partners to act in the world. You don't need partners to be. Because you're the only creature on the planet who is being referred to as a being. Sparrows are flying around, you can't fly, but we don't call them bird beings, they're just birds. All right? Tiger is roaming in the forest, we don't call him a tiger being. An elephant is raging through the forest, we don't call him an elephant being. Only this one we're calling a being, because this one is supposed to know how to be. When you don't know how to be, then you start thinking you're incomplete. How to act in the world is a different affair altogether, because that's not your space. World is not entirely your space. If you want to act there, you need the cooperation of hundreds of people, otherwise you cannot act. So to get that cooperation, you form variety of partnerships. To fulfill your financial needs, one kind of partnership, your social needs, another kind, your physical, psychological, emotional needs, another kind of partnership. That is for activity. But if you sit here, why aren't you a complete life? This is a complete life. So, you own something not because it's useful to you. If it's useful to you, you enjoy using it, please have it, whatever it is. But you are having it only because others don't have it. This is a sickness. This will naturally happen to you if you enhance your intellect without enhancing other aspects of your intelligence. Because the nature of the intellect is to accumulate. Today you call it as information, you call it as data, essentially it is accumulation. And because of this information, we have given up on human attention. It is only with human attention you can open any door in the universe. Keenness of your attention will do that. But today, right now I've looked up the Wikipedia of all of you guys, I know everything about you, I don't have to look at you. This is how we have become. Hello? Yes. Because I have information in my head, I don't have to pay attention. See, whatever information, let's say if I take one of you as an example, if I have all the information about you, about your life, still it could be wrong this moment because a human being is a possibility. This moment you may be something other than what information I have, isn't it so? Yes. If I am not open to that possibility, I am missing the whole human being because a data doesn't make life. Data is the footprint of life, not life. If you see my footprint, that's not me, isn't it? And the whole, once you are thinking about accumulations, the next thing is you want to leave a footprint. Those who want to leave a footprint in this world, they shall never fly.
They're only looking at the phone screen or the computer screen, they're heading into your wall. You need to look up and see where is life going around you. It's very important. You're misunderstanding technology and the screen space as a reality. No, technology is a wonderful tool, only if you use it consciously. If you become unconscious and compulsive about it, today in United States they've set up technology de-addiction centers, okay? Just like drug de-addiction, technology de-addiction. They're going crazy with technology. Technology has done wonders to me. We're doing 100 times the work that we were doing maybe 15, 20 years ago, simply because of technology. I think it's a great thing, but somebody else is suffering that. Human beings are even suffering their own brains, isn't it? If they didn't have a brain, they would be peaceful. Because they have a brain, they're saying stress, stress, stress. Because you don't know how to handle the highest technology which is here. On this planet, the greatest technology on the planet is the human mechanism. People who don't know how to handle it, people who never read the user's manual, they are suffering, their body and their mind. If you do bad things will come for you. This has been the way of the world. You don't need the word karma for that, because people have been trying to control people, either with fear or guilt. This has been the basis of a whole lot of things happening in the world. If you do this, you will go to hell, if you do that, you will go to heaven, otherwise here itself it will happen to you, whatever. Or there is somebody up there with a stick waiting and they will whack you. All these kind of things. Essentially, you're trying to manage humanity, control humanity with fear or guilt.
Yeah.
Fear and guilt, I see particularly in the Western world, is like enormous. It is in the psyche of people in such a big way. Well, karma is not about fear, karma is not about guilt, karma is about liberation. It is about freedom. Because you're a composite, as you sit here, you're a composite of various memories within you.
Yes.
It goes way back, but let's start with amoeba in recent times.
Okay.
From amoeba to now, the whole evolutionary process in some way is recorded in this body. Otherwise, this body would be confused every other day whether this is human or not. This is 100% clear that this is human, this is evolutionary memory, always there. There is genetic memory, there is karmic memory, there is articulate, inarticulate, unconscious, subconscious and conscious memories. Right now when we say memory, people think only of their conscious memory, which is less than 1% of their actual memory.
So the things they actually remember in their mind, the conscious memory.
Yes, that is less than 1% of the actual memory. See, for example, I can give you 1,000 examples like this which are manifesting in everybody's life. The simple thing is this, let's say 500 years ago, how your great-great-great-grandfather was, you don't remember for sure.
No.
But his nose is sitting on your face probably.
Right. My ears are his ears, yeah.
Yeah, many things.
Yeah.
Even the color of the skin and the texture of the skin, everything. So the minutest details of what happened to your forefathers 1,000,000 years ago still living with you right now.
Wow.
It is living with you right now. Now all these memories, a composite or an amalgamation of all these complex memories is what you call as myself. What you call as myself, consciously, maybe just a small part of that. But that small part is happening because of this massive memory that is there.
Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag Believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video because you are awesome. For 10 more amazing rules from Guru Gopal Das, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
There are two most important days in our lives. First is the day when we were born, and second is the day when we find out why. The day we are born is known to us. The day when we find out why is the day when we probably start discovering our purpose.